to the OMG Hour.
And welcome everybody to episode number 272 of the OMG Hour. It is 2 days before Extra Life, and we are recording this live on November 2nd, 2017. I am your host, Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
And I'm Jeff. I'm back again. Hello, everybody.
Welcome back, Jeff, again for the second time.
2 weeks. 2 weeks in a row.
That's a new record.
Technically 2 out of 3 because we didn't do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Last week, but...
Well, he wasn't available last week either, so, you know.
No, it's true.
But nobody was, so we'll call it... yeah, by the way, I'm Tico, Mr. Second Place, also here, before I forget.
Hello, Tico.
Sometimes I forget things,
well,
and
Tico,
I forgot.
You could have done a show last week.
I did do a show last week.
Oh, did you?
And you can see by the viewership of that show, it was, like, far and away our best show ever.
Sure. Okay. I'll have to go back and listen to it.
Listen, if I knew how to post a show or do anything, we wouldn't need you at all, Sean.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
That's why you keep it all secret. Make sure that you keep your job. It's a good plan.
Since I'm the one who, pretty much pulls all the strings around here, you're stuck with me. So
yeah, that's the plan. I think it's more that we're pulling the strings to make sure you do all that work.
Yeah, you're probably right. You guys, yeah, anyway. So, Extra Life, 2 days. I mentioned it's 2 days away, November 4th. And it's going so well. It's going super well. I had a goal of $1,500, and I crushed that goal yesterday. I had to increase my goal to $2,000. And then, like, an hour after increasing my goal to $2,000, I crushed that, and now my goal is $2,200. So, and I'm sitting at $2,060, I believe, total right now as we record this. Wow. And I am, like, super happy with how this is going. This is incredible. That's the most I've been able to raise since starting this 8 years ago. This is my 8th year doing it, and it's incredible. I've got tons of games to give away. I've already been giving games away. Assassin's Creed Origins, Ghost Recon Wildlands, we've got South Park, we got Mario plus Rabbids, a whole bunch of other stuff. We've got some stuff here from Warner Brothers with the Shadow of War and Lego Worlds and Outlast Trinity. There's a whole bunch of stuff to be given away, and we have more prizes than there are donors. So most donors are going to be getting more than one gift.
So everybody's guaranteed to get a gift, is what you're saying?
Everybody, any gamer who donates is guaranteed to get a game.
Excellent.
Guaranteed. In fact, I believe... Actually, Tico, you're still waiting to get some. Your name has...
I've not won anything. I'm very unlucky.
That's right. I know Jeff...
I donated first.
Yes.
First donation, and I've got nothing. I just want to point that out.
I think that's the issue, is random number generators rarely pick the number 1.
Yeah.
It's random. It rarely picks any number.
Well, you know what I'm saying. It's in all of the times I've been picking, not once has number 1 come up yet, obviously, because Tico hasn't been chosen. What I did is I put everybody in order that they donated, and that was their number. And as they got chosen, they got moved out, and everyone else moved up. That's just how I kind of tracked what numbers I was choosing.
Stay at number 1 no matter what then
until you're chosen. You're number 1, Tico. You are number 1. You're not in second. You're not Mr. Second Place.
But somebody else here won, didn't they?
Yes, Jeff. What did you win? What did you win?
I won South Park Fractured But Whole, as well as, I didn't realize it also came with the Stick of Truth. I thought that was a nice touch.
Oh, did it? Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
two games before I got anything. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Well, no.
Man.
So, yeah.
Excellent.
I started playing it today, but I'm only about an hour in, so I'll talk about that next week.
I don't recall if... So... I'm going to have to check the code I got for review, whether
they
it
all
came
do.
with it. Did it? So how is it just in my library then? How does that work?
I think it... I don't know. Jeff, how did
it work? Did it...
When I put in the code, it showed Fractured But Whole, and then when it got to the download screen, it showed 2 games.
Yeah, I think it was... so I think you just have to check your library.
Okay, I'll have to check it. I didn't realize I had that as well. Okay. The remastered version, I guess, the definitive version. All right, gents, let's talk about games. Jeff, let's start with you because you went out and did something this week that we thought the day may never come. What did you do? What did you do?
I bought this, which for you, I don't know if anybody can see it there. For the podcast listeners, I bought a Nintendo Switch with the elegant,
boring,
gray Joy-Con.
Uninspired, gray.
I actually have a lot of things to say about this. So I was, you know, I like to. I don't like to hold a library of a lot of stuff. I don't like to keep games that I'm not playing anymore, you know, on shelves and stuff like that. I am the anti-collector. Like Sean, behind you in the YouTube stream, I would not do that. I like to have.
Now, I must say, I will say, I hope you did it for at least one game because I believe you still have one of my games.
I do. I do not trade it.
Sorry, I traded that in.
I found it actually when I was going through all my games, going trade. Sean's send that back, and I put it aside. Yeah, actually, I traded in a ton of stuff. I traded in $350 or something like that of stuff. Wow. So that includes games, old Wii U. I traded in my 3DS, all my 3DS games, a bunch of PlayStation 4 games.
So you got rid of your 3DS?
Yeah, I got rid of my 3DS.
Yeah.
I hadn't played it in a really long time, and I don't have, like, when I think about, like, my GBA SP or my original Game Boy, like, those are consoles that have a lot of sentimental value to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But my 3DS was not like that.
I would agree with that.
It was, you know, it was not. It's not a console that I particularly love. It was good, but I didn't love it. So I had no problem just being like, "Yep, it's out of here." So I went and I traded all that in, got a huge stack of credit, bought a Switch, and I picked up. That was Mario Kart playing on it right there. You got to wait for the contrast adjustment there. But that's got some Mario Kart on there. I also bought P-Cross, which is my favorite 3DS game. I was actually you can't really see it there, but
yeah, I can see it
right there. Was my favorite 3DS game, and then I've been playing a bunch of the demos, just checking it out. Now, I played.
You got a game. We got you a game to review that you're going to review next week.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a very special review. Do we want to give
is it?
Well, yeah, because we're going to see you doing it.
Oh, that game. I thought we were talking about Morphight.
No, we reviewed Morphight a few weeks ago, Tico and I.
Oh, did
you
Morphight? Okay.
We'll review it again on the Switch, but Jeff's going to have a very special video for us next week on the Switch.
For next week, I am going to be reviewing Just Dance 2018, and there's actually something I want to make a comment about this because I've actually played. I have a daughter who is a gamer, and she loves Just Dance games, and so I've played Just Dance on Xbox with the Kinect. I've played it on PlayStation with like the camera. I played it on PlayStation with the phone, and I had the demo on here for Just Dance 2018 before I got the review code today. And I will say that Just Dance with the Joy-Cons has surpassed every other Just Dance experience I've had.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is easier to set up. It's got better tracking. The one with the PlayStation 4, you can, in theory, track up to 4 people. But because I was playing with Miranda, and I was playing with Oliver, and I was playing with Penelope, and then there's me, so we're all sorts of different heights, and it could never find all of us.
Oh.
So we'd be moving the couch down to the other end of the room. Like, this is my setup right here, right? So I've got a camera up there, and it can't find everybody because I have to put it up so it can see me, but it's got to go down so it can see Penelope.
Right,
so
right.
The Joy-Cons, you just hold the Joy-Con in one hand, and then you get to play Just Dance. So in that regard, I think that Just Dance for the Switch has been, even just that demo, which only includes one song, has been the easiest to set up and just start having fun. So I am actually legitimately excited to this, and we will have footage on YouTube next week of me and Penelope dancing while we are giving our thoughts on Just Dance.
Excellent.
So, yeah. So can I take 2 seconds and talk about a few things about the Switch? So I hope people don't take this the wrong way. This is the most American product to come out of Japan in a very long time. The DS, and I'm going to talk about user interfaces because everybody knows. If you're a brand new listener, welcome to the show. I'm a UI guy. That's my whole life revolves around user experiences and user interfaces. I would say that the UI on the 3DS, the Wii U, even the Wii, they were all really poor, and they were way too complicated for what we were trying to do. And I really, really like the interface on the Switch. I think this is one of this. I mean, it's a near rip-off of the PlayStation interface, which is also good, but not as good as the Switch. I really enjoy how simple this thing is to use and how clean it is.
Yes,
they're using clean. Very simple iconography, which really makes sense. I'd say the only UI issue I have with it today is that the store, and again, I actually do UI for e-commerce, the store interface needs a lot of improvements. It's not quite as good as it could be, but it's like leaps and bounds better than what was on the 3DS. Like miles better than the 3DS. And it makes me wonder if they actually hired another company to actually build the UI for this thing, which is not uncommon. There's a lot of companies that actually specialize in doing UI and stuff like that. Like my company.
Now, there's when you talk about the UI on the main screen, I agree, it's nice and clean. But the one thing I wish it did have that it doesn't is just the ability to change your single line of games into like a double line, so you can fit more on screen. Because right now, if you have more games, it's just this big, long line of games that you got to scroll through. It'd be nice to change that to at least 2 rows. You know, like the 3DS, you could change the size of the icons to fit more on screen if you wanted. I'd like to be able to do that on the Switch. Change the icon size so more icons can fit there.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you say that because I was sort of thinking the same thing. After I installed all these demos and I had that really long line, I was like, wow, I kind of don't need these tiles to be so big. It would be kind of nice if I could shrink them down a little bit and show 2 rows. But then I was like, well, is that what I want? Or would I want to have folders so I could put all my demos inside like one folder maybe?
Folders would be better.
Well, the 3DS had that, right?
And the 3DS had that too. A very poor implementation of it, but yes, they did. And then I think about like, well, on the PlayStation, which also has this one long row of icons, would I want that to be doubled up? And maybe it's different because this has a touch screen. So I definitely agree with you. I a little bit more organization would be good, but and I feel like this is going to be a UI that grows over time. So I'm hoping to see we'll get more stuff like that. I mean, Microsoft's really good at that. Sony is starting to get good at that. Hopefully Nintendo will do that too. But overall, super impressed. I really like the Joy-Cons. I think playing a first-person shooter on handheld mode is kind of terrible, but that's to be expected. I like how clicky the buttons are. I like the rumble. I like the screen. Overall, I gotta say,
it's a nice device. It really is.
I'm really, really impressed. And not only that, it's very sleek for an Apple product. And I really like the triggers.
Nintendo.
Oh. Sorry, I'm thinking they really looked at Apple when they were designing this, and I said the wrong thing. But yeah, it's really sleek for a Nintendo product, Even the 3DSs, when you looked at them, they started to have a lot of weird design decisions when you're talking about like industrial design. And this does too. Like, there are certain games that I would never want to play on here. Like, I know Doom is coming and Skyrim is coming, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'd want to play a game like that on a console like this.
Not with the Joy-Cons, but with on the television with the Pro Controller. Absolutely. Like, that's what I found with Zelda. Zelda, I found really difficult to play in tablet mode with the small, because it used all of the buttons on both, and you're moving around. And it became confusing and frustrating. But having the Pro Controller in hand, it was incredible.
But the issue there for me and most of us probably listening to this show as, core gamers is, okay, if I'm going to get Skyrim or Doom, would I get it on my Switch and then play it on the TV, or would I just get it for PlayStation or Xbox?
Right. No, I get it. Absolutely. I do. And I agree. There are games that are better, that are not easy to play with the Joy-Cons, because the way the Joy-Cons are designed. I still would love to see, and I mentioned this like a year ago when we were talking about this, I would love to see like a pro version of the controller that you can attach to the tablet.
A bigger Joy-Cons.
A splittable Pro Controller, that you can put on the side. That would be incredible.
It would be nice for sure. So anyway, I don't want to rant and rant. I mean, I'm the last guy in the world to get a Switch. Whereas I think we're talking about it today. They're selling like friggin' billions and zillions.
Exactly. Well, before we get to that, you played another great... I'm really interested to know about this game that you've been playing this week that you've been...
yes. I don't remember what it was called.
You've been begging to get this kind of a game on your PS4.
Yes. Professional Farmer, American Dream. So, you've probably never heard of this game. But from what I understand, it is another game in the same genre as Farming Simulator. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on the show before. Like, man, I want to try Farming Simulator. Right? I want to know what this game is all about.
Why are people still making these?
Yeah. There's so many of them.
There's so many of them. They've re-released the thing every year, and they're making money.
Can we just say really quickly how many of these simulator games are there? There's Construction Simulator I've seen. Like there's so many simulator type games out there. It's like, why are you creating these simulator games? Is there really a demand for a construction simulator?
No. Well, I mean, on PC they'll make pretty much anything. Like they just throw it out on PC. But the fact of the matter is, some of these are coming out on consoles. Like somebody's taking the time to port this to a console. Professional Farmer, Farming Simulator, and there's like Farming Simulator 2017, which means there's a yearly release for this.
There is.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know what they're doing. They're updating the farming teams to make sure they get the most current rosters out there. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Maybe the latest tractors. So I've only played this for about 2 hours. But I have a pretty good idea of how the game works, although it's much, much deeper than what I've played so far. So basically, first of all, I want to say, if you're watching on YouTube, what I'm doing right now, I am tilling my field. You will do a lot of this.
Yeah.
Driving back and forth across your field. Yeah. So there's more to it than just like tractors and fields. Like there's also animal husbandry and all that kind of stuff. But this is the smallest field that you can buy, because you have to buy your fields. It takes about 15 minutes to like till it. Then you have to, grub it, which is essentially the same thing with a different attachment. So you drive back and forth across the field once, then you drive back to the farm, you drop off your attachment, you go to the next attachment, you reverse into it, you attach it, you drive back to the field, then you grub the whole field, and then so that's another 15 minutes. And then when you're done grubbing the field, then you drive back to the farm, you drop off your grubber, you go pick up the seed deposit machine, which is again just another attachment for your tractor. You go to the seed repository, you fill your thing with seeds, you drive back to the field, then you go back and forth across the whole thing to plant all your seeds. Then you wish you were done, but you're not. Then you go back to the farm, you drop off the seeder, you go on the other side of the farm, you pick up the watering attachment, you drive to the well, you fill the watering attachments, you drive back to the field, you go back and forth over the whole thing again, and again, each time it's about 15 minutes to do the smallest field in the game. And then after it's watered, then
you can cut that time down about half, right?
It's how?
So you go up one side, you turn, and basically you come back through the middle, right? So you're basically, because you're
the Zamboni. Just do the Zamboni thing.
Like the Zamboni thing. So
I don't know anything about hockey.
You go up one side because you're going up. You're going all the way around.
No, I'm gonna change it eventually. I'm gonna go start going back and forth.
Yeah, you should be going back and forth.
Yeah. I've tried a bunch of different ways to see. It's not so much like what's the fastest, it's which is the least mind-numbing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
exactly.
So,
I don't think that exists.
So, you got to water your crops, and then you can harvest your crops, but in between doing that, then there's animals, and you can go get animals, and then you can raise the animals, and you got to feed the animals, and all these things require different attachments for your tractor, and then eventually, after your crops grow, then you got to go get the harvester, and thank the Lord, the harvester's a little bit bigger, so it takes a little bit less time to do the whole thing, but then you take that, and you got to go deposit it, and maybe you're going to sell some of it, maybe you're going to save it for seeds for the next year, and then there's no real goal in mind. It's very much like a lot of other sim games, like Sim City, right? So in Sim City, you don't really, you build the city you want to build. Well, you build the farm you want to build. So all these different actions give you money, which you can use to buy bigger fields. You can have multiple fields. You can plant different crops. You can go get different types of animals. And then you're just sort of trying to build a farm. And then apparently, although I haven't got this far yet, you can also get to the point where you have farm hands that can do some of this stuff for you. What specifically? I don't know.
Tilling the fields.
Hopefully tilling the freaking fields. But again, if I wasn't tilling a field, so far anyway, I wouldn't know what else I would be doing.
No, you'd be sipping a beer on the porch with your shotgun.
Yeah. And you can get out, and you do have a dog, so you can get out and legitimately walk around. You have a truck that you can use, and there's a town that you can drive to, and you can go buy and sell stuff in there, So,
overall, are you happy about finally being able to live your dream of being an American farmer?
I am happy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am not going to spend millions of years playing this game. I really just wanted to try to see what it is. I'm going to keep playing it for a little bit longer. I mean, the holiday releases are starting to build up on me, but I'll keep playing it for a little bit longer because I am genuinely curious to see how deep this goes. But the other thing that I want to say is that as a game, this one is well thought of for console. I'm assuming that this is a PC port. I'd say the only real knock I've had is there's two things. One, the frame rate should be better for how kind of pathetic the graphics are. And
I was going to say it's not highly graphical, is it?
No. This definitely strikes me as maybe a Unity type game. So the graphics aren't great, and there's quite a bit of slowdown if you look across your farm and you put too much polygons in your view. Then you notice drastic frame drops. And what was the other thing? Sometimes it's hard to figure out your objectives if it's giving you objectives, which it only does during the tutorial so far. So the tutorial took an hour and a half.
Wow.
All right. And so what kind of loot boxes does this game have? Are there different skins for your tractor you can get, and
no
microtransactions?
No microtransactions. This is a great game. I wish I knew how much it cost. And honestly, now that I've played this, now I really want to play Farming Simulator so I can
compare the two.
So I can compare the two, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a $40 game. Canadian, yeah. I think.
And that's totally great price for this game. If you wanted a farming simulator, honestly, there's nothing wrong with this game. This video we're watching right now is about to get super exciting because I'm about to finish the field and drive off and go get the grubber, which is the most exciting thing in this video.
So that you can come back and do it all again.
Yeah. I think I'm actually going to be really lazy here because we couldn't use the first video I made. So I think I'm just going to drive. Do I have to? Am I going to rotate it? If I rotate the thing.
He's rotating.
Ooh, look at that. Okay, so instead of actually driving and dropping this thing off in the barn, I'm just going to leave it in a field. Because I was like, why am I going to drive this thing back to a barn? I'm going to need it again later. So
nice. All right. Yeah. Excellent. It's a professional farmer, American dream. Jeff is living the dream. There he is, driving off into the sunset. Excellent. Assassin's Creed Origins, gentlemen. Assassin's Creed Origins. Tico, you've been playing it. I've been playing it. Now let's talk about a game that looks incredible. This is a gorgeous game. If you don't follow me on Twitter, then you should do so and go check out the screenshot that I tweeted out yesterday. I believe the both of you saw it. Jeff, you saw it. Beautiful sunset in a sandstorm, and Jeff was asking me, is that like with filters or is that the actual game? No, that was no filters. That was the game itself, and it was just gorgeous. It's Assassin's Creed. I mean, it's got all of those staples of Assassin's Creed, but they've really changed it up a lot in the actual, I guess, mechanics of the game. So it's a lot more like...
The combat is entirely different.
Combat has a lot of... it really shows the For Honor style combat coming through. Not as deep and as detailed as For Honor, but it definitely has a For Honor vibe to it now. Where you lock on to an opponent, you have heavy attack and regular attack.
Block.
And sorry?
There's a block and then like a dodge.
Block, dodge, and then I like being able to lock on to your opponent, and then actually using the right stick, you can switch between your locked on opponents. So much more refined battle system. But the stealth aspects, beautifully done. Sneaking around, the way I like to play. You guys know how I like to play. And it's a lot more like an RPG now. You have levels, and you gain XP, and as you gain XP, you get new skills that you can unlock, that you can spend your skill points on. You're getting loot. Enemies drop loot, so you might get new weapons or new shield. You can also collect. You can break those down if you don't want them to collect items for crafting, which make better. The crafting is more for upgrading your equipment, so your bracers and your chest piece to make yourself stronger or better. Better melee attack, more health, that sort of thing, right? So it's for increasing your health and your melee abilities and stuff. So you're not actually crafting weapons or anything. You're crafting better armor.
Yeah,
is what that is. But yeah, you're constantly getting new weapons. And your weapons can vary from swords to staves to hammers to like sickles, and then there's different shields you can get that have different stats.
Different bows as well.
Right, you can have up to 2 different bows, and there's I think 4 different types of bows to choose from. You know, of which two of which you can have attached at any time or equipped, and again, when you get a better weapon, you equip it. Just like an RPG. The RPG mechanics in this are full on. It's not just a little bit. They've practically turned Assassin's Creed into an action RPG.
Yeah, but you can't go to certain areas of the game now if you're not high enough level. You will get killed pretty quickly.
You will get killed very quickly, and your quests. You have a quest log. You have a quest log, and your quests have levels, so you know if you can go do it or not. Wow! Right, but having said all that, it's still Assassin's Creed. They haven't. We talked about this a few years ago. At what point does a game stop being the game that it originally was? If the more you make changes to it, how much of the original before you can say that it's not what that game was. But I can't say that about this. This is still Assassin's Creed. There's nothing about this that says to me, nah, this is not Assassin's Creed. It still is. The movement controls, the climbing up and down is super refined. He doesn't get caught on things. He actually climbs things really fast. Have you noticed that, Tico?
Yeah, like it's not a lot of like jumping and missing or running into a wall randomly. Like everything is really climbable. It's not like they're blocking you from getting anywhere.
No, it's beautiful. It flows really well. Even if you're running towards a fence, as long as you hold the X button, which is the button for climbing, he'll literally just hop over the fence as smooth as anything. Like he'll just jump right over the fence as if it wasn't even there and keep going without even a slowdown. It's so well done. I am really, really impressed with this. And it's massive. The map in this game is unbelievably huge.
It's huge. And the other interesting thing, no mini-map.
That's a good point. That's actually one thing I wish it did have, was a mini-map.
So do I, because I keep going, okay, where am I going? And you're following, like, you know, you can get a tracker and it'll show up on your screen as to which direction, but, you know, if you're running that direction, it's like, oh, there's a building here, so I have to climb this now.
Yeah.
Instead of just taking the streets.
Yeah, the mini-map would be helpful, but the map on this is more like what Skyrim gives you. So you basically have a compass along the top, a line, and you just follow whichever direction you need to go. But as you mentioned, that's the nice thing about this game is you can be heading towards your goal, and if there's a building in your way, just climb the building and go over it. Everything is climbable. And I'm talking everything. If there's a rock wall in front of you, climb the rock wall. You know?
Yeah.
There's nothing in this game that isn't climbable. That you can't just get up and over, or you can go around if you want. There is zero lack of mobility in this game.
Yeah.
It's
and if you
so
do
well
want to
done.
go somewhere and you don't want to travel all the way there, I found using your horse and just setting a custom waypoint and then holding down the thing in your horse, you don't have to. You can just I don't know what that would be called. It's just set to auto take you there.
Yeah. So on your vehicle, what they call vehicle, so your horse or your camel. If you're on a road, you can press on Xbox. It would be the A button. PlayStation would be the X button. You just hold that down, and the horse will automatically follow the road, and you can tell it to go to your custom waypoint. So it will just auto follow the road until you get to where you're going. Right, so you don't, but you can steer it. If you would say, no, I want to go that way, you can go that way, and it'll kind of change the route.
Something cool.
Yeah. So I do like that. The longer or the further you ride on your mount, the faster he'll go. So it's not like the same. It's not the same speed all the way there. So if you're going a long distance, the horse will get faster and faster as you go. One little thing before we move on. I mean, it's Assassin's Creed. It's beautiful. I'm having an incredible time with it. There's so much to do. There's a lot of little things to do, a lot of side quests. There's one thing that's really cool. If somebody in the world, not necessarily your friends list, but somebody who's playing the game got killed by an NPC, there'll be a marker on the map where you can avenge them. So you come across their body, you investigate it, and then it says go avenge them, and it gives you markers of where the guys are that killed that character, that killed that player, and you go kill those NPCs, and you've avenged their death. That's a really cool thing.
Confirm the kill, and then you get some XP for that. I've actually had a couple of times where I've gone in and I've leveled a whole thing of bandits. And then, there's a body over there. I go, and I've already killed all of the guys. So I've already avenged it, so I just have to go confirm the kills afterwards.
I did that as well. I cleared out a den of thieves, and then found a dead body outside, and the guys who I needed to kill were already dead. So good on me. That's a lot of fun. And then the one thing I was gonna say, which I've now completely forgotten, I don't know. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Anyway, it's
good.
Good.
Great entertainment.
Thank you. Anyway, I highly recommend it. It is a wonderful addition to the Assassin's Creed lore, and it really is, for all intents and purposes. I'm not going to give anything away, but you actually learn a lot of you learn where certain things came from in the Assassin's lore. In the very, very first game of Assassin's Creed, first and second, I believe, the Assassins always had a finger missing. The ring finger was always missing, right? That was a sign that they were an assassin. You actually learn in this game why they do that. I don't know, Tico, if you've come across that yet.
I have done that mission, and that was kind of fun. Like, I mean, I've known why they do that for a while, but like the fact that how they explain it in this story, is it's actually very Indiana Jones type sort of explanation to things, like, you know, how he gets his scar, or like that sort of thing. Like it's a very fun little, like, oh, this is why.
That's why, exactly, and I like that, and I'm really looking forward to learning more origins. I really hope we kind of get an origin over the assassin symbol, you know, the stylized A symbol, because we have yet to see it in the game. At least I have yet to see it in the game. So I'm really hoping we get that that explanation of where that symbol comes from. But yeah, anyway, that's Assassin's Creed Origins. We are really well on in time. So Tico, you've got a game here called Slayaway Camp. This looks hilarious. Tell us about it.
So this was in perfect time for Halloween. Slayaway Camp is a puzzle game where you play as a serial killer. So it is a top-down sort of puzzle setup, and you have to figure out in the right number of moves how to kill all of the campers or people on your thing without killing yourself. So I'm trying to think of a game that it's similar to. Basically, you have to move your killer in proximity to the victims by moving left, right, up, down. So you'll slide. So if you push up, you go all the way to the top until something stops you. Either
it's like those box sliding games.
Yes. Yeah. So and the characters are very boxy as well.
It's think of Murder Town in Minecraft. This is Minecraft Murder Town.
Okay. And so as you get, so you have to figure out, how do I get from this guy to this guy? So and there's if you just go up and left and to get to the guy, you may not be able to get to the guy at the bottom. So you have to plan out your attack. It's okay. I have to go up here, right here, scare this guy. By landing beside them, they'll run into the fire, and that will kill them.
Yeah.
And then I have to go up here, use this thing to block myself to bounce back in order to get to the right spot to kill your victim. And you have to do it like most of them are, you have unlimited moves, and then you have to get to the exit without dying as well. But there's a few that's like, do this in 6 moves. And it's very fun. It's set up, each level is set up as a movie. So you've got Slayaway Camp 1, 2, 3, 4. This was actually out on Android and iOS a while ago.
Oh, was it really?
Well. It's a great game on the phone, too. I actually have this on the phone. It's a super fun game to kill a little bit of time with, and they've added there's a Christmas version of it, so you have to, and you get different killers as you progress through the game as well.
Do you have a bad Santa?
There is a bad Santa character. There is a Cthulhu character. There's a Jason character. There's actually, I think in the Slayaway Camp 2, you play as the original killer's mother. So you play, as an old lady in a wig. So and there's like tons of different. There's a Pennywise. There's I think there's about 20 different unlockables that you can get. Unlockable characters in this game. A really fun game.
It looks hilarious.
Yeah, just great humor, fun game, fun little and you have to think about it too. It's not like just press up, down, left, right. Like you have to think, okay, how do I get from here to here, get that guy, still get that guy, and then still end up back at the spot you need to get to in order to get out of the level.
Right.
So fun game. I believe it is. I think it's under $10.
It's definitely worth it. It looks hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and great for the holidays for Halloween that just passed. Really fun game.
Excellent. So that's Slayaway Camp. Well, we are definitely well on in time, so we should probably get to the stuff we like to talk about right after this. I gotta watch this guy get killed with a guitar.
It's $4 on iOS.
Okay.
But on Xbox, I think it's $10.
All right, the news. First of all, so 2 weeks ago we told you about the OMG Hour gamer tag, and we were part of the gamer tag contest. Tico, what was our final score? Do you remember?
80,265.
80,265, which I think is higher than my own gamer score after 10 years.
Yes.
And that was done in 3 weeks.
That was done from the 1st of October, started 1st of October, finished on the 24th or 25th?
22nd.
22nd.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 days after we recorded
Like the
last.
24th or 25th.
Yeah, approximately.
Yes.
So the idea here was that the top 5 players that increased their gamer score the most would win the grand prize of an Xbox One X and Forza Motorsport 7.
Correct.
Tico, how did we do?
We actually finished. I don't know the exact ranking, of whatnot, and nor do I know if it'll ever actually show up. But I received an email of congratulations from the fine folks at Xbox Canada.
So we won an Xbox One X and Forza Motorsport 7.
Yeah.
So the three of us are going to have a death match to figure out who actually owns it.
Done. I think since it's shipping to my house, good luck finding me.
Right. Tico's just put his house up for sale.
I would also like to point out I did nothing at all.
Jeff wasn't even here for the entire time.
I should get it. Yeah.
So,
but no, I think it was a great contest, really fun, Canadian only contest. Really cool to be a part of that thing, and to actually to have come anywhere close to winning a contest when you think all of Canada is pretty awesome. I'm hoping that they share the actual overall scores to see where that 80,000 plus ranked within the top 5 and everything as well.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see if that's fifth, and there's somebody who did 150,000 or something like that in that amount of time.
Yeah,
but still really cool, and
it's pretty awesome.
Considering looking at a 4K TV now to make sure you get the most out of it.
Excellent. All right, so last week I believe Super Mario Odyssey was released, and Tico, you've been playing it. You have it, right?
Yes, I did pick this up.
How is it?
It's a Mario game. It's fun. I've not made it a ridiculous amount distance of the game, but it's a lot of fun. So you play obviously as Mario, the title character in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
It's Mario.
That's groundbreaking.
What?
Yeah. So you end up with playing as Mario, and you get this magic hat named Cappy. The hat.
It's a great hat. Great name, Cappy.
Yep. And this hat has special powers, so you can throw it to take out enemies, and then there's certain enemies and certain things that you can throw the hat at that will turn you into those things.
Oh,
right. The funnest by far has been the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Funnest? Is that a word?
No,
the most fun?
The most fun, yeah.
The most fun? I'm sorry, I didn't realize the grammar police.
How about the most funnest?
The most funnest? The funniest, most... I don't know. It is fun. I enjoyed it. Throwing it, you become a Tyrannosaurus Rex, stomp around, break bricks, and stuff like that in order to progress through the levels. I have not made it to New Donk City yet, which I've heard is very cool.
Oh, it doesn't start in New Donk City?
No. You start in
Mushroom Kingdom?
Old Donk City, I guess.
Mushroom Kingdom? Maybe?
Could be.
Is this does it take place before or after the Rabbids ruin the place?
I think this is alternate universe type game.
Okay.
So a what if, Mario had a hat that could be thrown at things.
Right. So apparently Super Mario Odyssey is the fastest selling Mario game ever. It is selling faster than Zelda sold when the Switch released.
I don't find that to be surprising at all. Zelda was selling at a time when consoles were constrained. It was a launch title.
Yes,
there wasn't a lot of people there to buy it, and I was having a conversation with my buddy at EB Games while I was buying my Switch, and he was telling me that he was surprised that a lot of people were not coming in to buy Mario and a Switch. It wasn't a system seller, he was saying. Now, mind you, that's one store out of billions.
Yeah.
But he was saying that a lot of people had already bought their Switch in anticipation
of Mario. Yeah.
So I don't find there's way more consoles out now than there was, when Zelda was coming out. I don't find that to be surprising, is kind of what I'm saying.
Right.
I think that's people making news for the sake of making news. The fastest selling is selling more than Zelda. Well,
no, what they're saying is this is the fastest selling Mario game ever.
That is good.
Yeah,
but then the second part of that sentence is selling even faster than Zelda. That's the part that I don't find surprising. It's the fact that it's the fastest selling Mario game of all time, I think, is amazing. And it does look a little funny. I came that close to buying it. The only reason I bought Mario Kart over Mario Odyssey is only because I wanted a game that I could play with the kids.
With the kids, sure.
Because I knew I was going to get Mario and Rabbids, so like that's the game that I'm going to play. And I wanted to get a multiplayer game that was split screen. So
yeah.
Otherwise, I totally would have bought Mario, and I would have contributed to that statistic.
In the first 3 days, apparently it sold 2 million copies. And over the last week, it has sold 1.1 million just in the U.S.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of games sold. And the nice thing, there's a great article that we're going to link to here that I kind of wish... I mean, I think a lot of games are going this route, but they really brought it out in Super Mario's. They say that Super Mario Odyssey never punishes the player, right? So as you're playing, even if you die, there's no real punishment for dying other than you lose a few coins.
Yeah,
right?
And then moves you back to a checkpoint.
Yeah, and the checkpoints apparently are really generous. Like, so you don't lose a lot of time, I guess, when you die. So they've designed it in a way that you're never really going to be frustrated because you can just try again, and there's no real punishment for dying. And I think kind of at the same rate, I look at, I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins right now, and Assassin's Creed Origin doesn't really punish you for dying either. Right? If you die, you just respawn very, very close to where you were. Just sort of like if you're in an enemy camp and you die, you spawn just outside that camp. Yeah. And I noticed the other day, too, that when I got caught and was killed inside the camp, when I went back in, it didn't have as many guards anymore as if I had cleared out half of them. They didn't all suddenly reappear.
And any collectibles you've already grabbed in that camp, as well as mission items, have already done too. I actually had one where I was trying to rescue some guy from a fortress. I got him out and everything like that, and I got killed running out. And it respawned me, and I went back to try to save him again, and realized he's already back at the main base where I have to go talk to him again. Like like I died, but he just kept going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't have to go redo that part, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. So I think a lot of games are kind of taking that mentality where, okay, you can die, but you're not going to... And not every game, mind you. Not every game. I've had a game I played recently, I think it might have been Elix, where I played for 40 minutes, tried to do a bunch of stuff, died, and I was stuck way, way back to where I was before because it was stupid. But I like that. I appreciate games that take the player and their actions into account. Games that save often, that when you die, you don't lose anything, or you're very close to where you were when you died, so you can just quickly jump back in and keep going. I like that. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Less controller chucking.
I think it's fair to be said that there's also people on the other side of that argument who are complaining that Mario is too easy as well. Right, and they're looking for more of a challenge, and I think it's okay to have, I'm going to bring up Destiny because it's my favorite game, but Destiny does a really good job of mixing, good like pretty not too challenging content with like really hard content if you want it, like the raids and stuff like that, right? And there have been some people talking online about how they wish that Mario had some of that harder content. So like, yeah, you can just blow through a lot of the easy stuff, but if you want to have those old school harder Mario challenges, like they're going to be in there too. But I haven't played it yet. I haven't played a Mario game in a really long time, not since New Super Mario Brothers 2, I think, is the last one I played, and it was a breeze too, right? I mean, it was.
The last full on 3D world Mario that I played was Mario Galaxy on the Wii, and I loved Mario Galaxy. I played some Super Mario Galaxy 2, but I finished Super Mario Galaxy, the first one. I played it nonstop, and I loved it. So I'm hoping to get Mario Odyssey for Christmas this year. I don't have it right now, but I'm hoping maybe it'll be under the tree for me.
Hint, hint.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. There's a guy down at the mall. You can go sit on his lap and make some requests.
Yeah, but I don't think he's there yet.
I didn't say Santa. I said there's a guy down at the mall. You can go sit on his lap and make some requests.
Might not be the kind of guy I'm looking for.
Listen, you'll probably get Mario. I'll just say that.
He's not my type. Oh, man. Okay, while we're talking about the Switch, The Switch sales numbers apparently are now approaching 8 million units worldwide. It just keeps going and going. It's like the Energizer Bunny.
Yes. So, would you like to know where that stands in the grand pantheon of worldwide lifetime console sales?
Yes, Mr. Numbers Man.
It's as it approaches. So it's in a weird spot right now. Somewhere between about 6 and 8 million is where the Switch is currently standing. So that puts it ahead of things like the Atari 7800. The Neo Geo, Sega CD, basically all the losers of the world, which is an amazing place to be. No, that's an amazing place to be considering it hasn't even been out a year yet, right?
No, not even. It came out in March.
Yeah.
April, May, June, July, August, September, October. It's
so
been
if it
8 months. 8 months. That's equivalent of $1 million a month.
So if it hits 8.2 million, it's going to outsell the Dreamcast. 8.8 is the Sega Saturn, and then it's got 10 to the Game Gear, and then of course the big one it has to surpass, which it'll probably surpass sometime in 2018, is 14 million, and that would make it surpass the Wii U.
The Wii U. Well, okay. Well, it's definitely going to surpass the Wii U.
Oh yeah, it's just that after it gets past 14 million, then it's like the Vita is at like 16 million, but then it's got to get up to 22 million to surpass the GameCube.
Okay.
And we're somewhere between 6 and 8 right now. So it's still in sort of that area of consoles that didn't really sell that great, but man.
But those numbers, we're talking years of sales.
Those are lifetime.
Yeah.
Lifetime numbers.
We're talking 8 months here, right?
It's
so
crazy.
It is
going to go up.
It is well on its way.
Does it surpass the Wii at 101 million?
Wow.
Can it get there? Can it get there?
I don't know. What do you think? So, Jeff, you have one now. Surprisingly, you're impressed with it.
This thing is a billion times better than the Wii, but it's expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's got better software. It's already got better third-party software support from people like Ubisoft and Bethesda. But if they can get Activision and EA on board, maybe. I don't know. Can Nintendo carry this one all the way to 101 million? I don't know. The Wii I still consider to be a fad, right? I consider the Wii to be a fluke. And I know Nintendo diehards really hate when I say that. But it was like a Furby. It was that super hot thing that everybody had to buy. Can we get this to 101 million? I'd love to see it, because I would prefer to see this be the #1 Nintendo selling console of all time than the Wii. And actually, that's probably a lie. I mean, the DS is at 154 million.
And you don't think this is a fad as well?
No, this is a legitimately good idea.
Okay.
Portable.
Fair enough.
It plays to a lot of Nintendo's strengths. Also a home console. It's got the Joy-Cons are actually, I'm like shocked at how good they are. Like, this is a solid piece of tech. I think it can go. It's going to go far. Is it going to outsell the PlayStation 4? We're at 64 million right now. Is it going to do the Xbox One at 31 million? You know, I think we're going to wait and see.
You brought up something that I read something this week about. Nintendo knows, apparently, based on stats, of whether you're playing in handheld mode, in television.
Oh yeah,
connected
I'm sure
mode,
they're sending.
Or both.
I'm sure they're sending all sorts of telemetry back.
Yeah, so they have
Nintendo.
stats that apparently it's something like just over 20% of people, and we're talking like 80% of their time they play in connected mode, in a television mode only. 30% of people use it in portable mode only. 80% of the time, but that leaves 50% of people who have a Switch use it both. They use it connected or portable. And I think that in and of itself proves that they've got something people want. We've got a console, a home console that we can take with us. I honestly remember talking years ago about, wouldn't it be awesome if I could take my Xbox or my PlayStation game with me wherever I'm going? this essentially does that. You know, yes, graphically and power-wise, it's not a PS4 or an Xbox One. But, you know, essentially we've got games on the go, and that is what a lot of people have wanted for years. The Vita was sort of that console quality style game on the go, but it wasn't something you could hook up to the TV when you got home. That's where this really hits it.
The Vita had a lot of compromise too, right?
Yes, it did. It had a lot of bad decisions too, with that touchpad on the back that just really didn't work all that well, and
yeah, that was a mistake.
There was a lot of mistakes on the Vita. So, all right, we are
anyway.
Now, Tico, you were trying to jump in to say something. Do you remember what you were trying to say?
Oh yeah, no, I was just about Jeff's comment about the Wii and why it sold so well. Like I remember that was sold. That was marketed as get your kids up off their butts. So
that's right. Eh?
You know, parents were buying that because, I don't want my kid playing video games. It was marketed as the anti-video game almost.
It was marketed, but it was also marketed to people who weren't gamers.
Right. Yeah. It was like the elderly and the extremely young. And this is the thing with the Switch too. Like, I would have bought my daughter, who's 6, a Wii and said, "Here, go to town. You'll have fun with this." Whereas I would not hand her a Switch, because she's going to drop this thing down the stairs, and I'm
so worried about that. I'm so worried. Even them pulling the Joy-Cons off.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not... I think that's one of the things that's going to hurt its overall sales, because the Wii, you could buy that for anybody, whatever. You pick it up, it's got the kids' games and everything like that. Whereas this, you're looking at, it's like, this is an expensive thing to hand to a child under the age of 12.
Agreed. Exactly. And it doesn't drop well. I've seen the drop test on it. It doesn't drop well. You know, it hits the pavement.
Jeff, drop yours really quick. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens, Jeff. Throw it across the room.
I can't do that. Family show. Can you get hard cases for this? Maybe I should get a hard case for this.
I just have a carry case for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but if I'm the kids, it's the kids.
I don't think
the Insignia one, you can actually put the whole thing in the case, so it gives it a neoprene hard case.
Yeah, but then you couldn't play it.
No, you can play it in the case.
Oh, really?
The straps go on either side.
How are you going to get to the triggers?
You don't.
Well,
then you... come on, dude. You can't play it then.
Fine, you can't. Fine.
I think there are rubber sort of bumpers that you can add to them. I don't... But all
right, we'll look. Nobody listening cares about my problems with my kids, so...
Oh, great. All right, we've only got a couple of minutes left. We were going to talk about Paris Games Week, but I'm sure everybody's already read about it. A lot of games were announced, a lot of new VR games as well. We don't really have time to go through them all. Did you guys have anything specific that caught your eye from Paris Games Week?
2 things, both VR. There's that new military shooter is shaping up really well. Bravo Team. That looks really good. And that game that we already have with the bugs. What is it called?
Farpoint.
Farpoint. It is getting a PvP mode. Free add-on soon.
What?
And I'm pretty excited to do VR first-person shooting.
So you want to kill me
online?
Is that what you're saying?
I'm gonna kill anybody. I will totally go play that. I am so excited to try that.
That would actually be cool.
It's getting a huge patch. So that's the only 2 big things for me. There was a lot of other trailers for games I'm already excited about. Spider-Man trailer looked really good.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like, my god.
No, exactly. I don't think there was anything super exciting, but it was just I love seeing new trailers for new games coming up. Detroit Become Human was shown off a little bit more. I'm really looking forward to that because I love Quantum Dream. Quantum Dream, is that right? Quantum.
Yeah.
I love their games.
I wish I loved their games. I look at their games and go, wow. That's so mind-blowing and amazing. That's going to be a great cinematic storytelling experience, and I would be so bored playing it.
Did you play Beyond Two Souls?
No.
That, far and away, I think that's the best one. I played that one twice, from beginning to end.
I played Indigo Prophecy.
That was years ago. Dude, that's not even comparable. Beyond Two Souls was fantastic. Far and away the best one.
And I played
incredible.
I played a little bit of that one where your kid gets kidnapped.
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
had the Beyond Two Souls was way better than even Heavy Rain. It's phenomenal. The story was great. It really good, and the kind of game that once you're done, you kind of want to play again just to get a different outcome. You know, try to do something differently and see what happens, because it does. Your choices matter in the overall story, which is great. All right, 2 things real quick, Jeff. You're the Destiny guy. Tell us about, well, we just talked about that. So, Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris coming December 5th.
Yeah, December 5th. Yep, December 5th. New cinematic, new campaign, all about Osiris, who is a warlock in the Destiny mythos. He has actually mentored the head Vanguard warlock. What's her name? Ikora. He was Ikora's mentor. He actually, he's got a really interesting story. We don't have a lot of time to tell, but he's got a really interesting backstory where he was kicked out of the Vanguard because he was experimenting with the darkness. He knows a lot about the Vex. Was the Vex? Yeah, he's a big deal with the Vex. And this looks to be a really interesting story that's got a lot of time travel stuff in it.
Ooh,
could be very cool.
Very cool.
So I'm very excited about that. It's got new strikes, new stuff. But interestingly, no new raid.
Oh. Well, maybe with the next one. The next one.
But
so that's December 5th.
Excellent. Yeah, so about a month.
Excellent. And Far Cry 5. So multiplayer campaign details have emerged. And Jeff, what is going on? Come on, Ubisoft. Okay, so first of all, you did it right with Ghost Recon Wildlands. You did it right.
Yes.
If we jump into Ghost Recon together and we complete missions, it completes the mission for both of us in both our own personal campaigns. In Far Cry 5, however, if you invite your friend to your game and fight alongside you, and you complete a mission, guess what happens to your friend's game? Nothing.
Ooh.
What?
Now,
Ooh, yeah.
We really wanted this to be fixed. Again, if you're new to the show, Sean and I we have a huge love-hate relationship with Far Cry co-op, because Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 had some of the best co-op experiences we've ever had together, except for the fact that you basically got to play the game separately and then together. Like, it's this really weird mix. And we had high hopes they were going to fix it, because after playing Ghost Recon, it was perfect.
Perfect.
But no. It does sound like they've improved it somewhat, but they just need to make it a co-op game.
Yes.
That's really what they need to do.
If I invite you...
Perfect co-op game.
Yes.
Perfect.
If I invite you and we finish, because apparently the entire campaign is playable in co-op.
Mm-hmm.
But if you and I, Jeff, play the entire campaign together, one of us isn't going to actually finish the campaign.
So you have to play it twice.
Yes.
And I find that to be a huge problem, because if you're playing with somebody, you should both be getting, like, you shouldn't have to play through the game and then, like, okay,
yeah,
now we got to go through, so I get the credit for finishing the game too.
Exactly. That's my point. It's like, okay, Jeff, I'm going to jump into your game. Let's do this mission. Well, guess what? Now we have to go do it again in my game.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Right. They should have an option when you join another game. Do you want this to count towards your progress as well? Yes or no? And then you say yes, and then you get to play the game like that. Or if you don't want it to, then it's an easy fix.
There's been so many games that have solved this. Gears of War comes to mind. Borderlands comes to mind.
Ghost Recon Wildlands. If we're talking about Ubisoft games, they've already done it.
Like, it's specifically to what Tika was saying. Like Gears of War, if you go, let's say that I'm going to play the main campaign, and I'm going to beat all the missions, and then on like mission 3, I'm going to invite you guys to play with me, and then you guys haven't played the game at all, so you're going to play missions 3, 5, and 6, and then you're going to start your game. You're going to start on mission 1, and you're going to play missions 1 and 2, but as soon as you get to the 3rd level, it's going to be like, hey, you've already played this. Do you want to skip ahead?
Right, which is what Borderlands does.
Which is what Borderlands does, too.
Yeah.
So it would be nice if Far Cry could do that, too.
Just give people the option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think really all we're saying is this isn't a hurdle they need to solve. This has been solved in many other games.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they don't implement it in Far Cry. It doesn't make sense to me.
It is such a great co-op game. You know?
Yes, it really is.
It's so good.
Especially with bow and arrow, right? And stealth.
Right?
Yeah. And
we should do some Let's Plays.
And then there's Tico. Tico, who just crashes helicopters behind you.
Hey, I landed it aggressively.
I landed it with authority.
That you did, my friend. That you did. All right, everybody. That is pretty much it for this episode of the OMG Hour. This has been episode number 272. Audio listeners, you are listening to the raw video feed. So because of Extra Life this weekend, I will not be editing the show. So you're going to get it early because I'm going to post it tonight or tomorrow. And that's it. So make sure you check out our video feed on Saturday, bit.ly/TheOMGHour, our YouTube channel, where I will be streaming Extra Life for 24 hours straight from 8 a.m. Saturday Eastern Time to 8 a.m. Sunday Eastern Time. So jump in, say hello, and keep me company. I'll be playing lots of games.
I'll come play a game with you at some point.
Awesome.
In the evening, after the kids go to bed. Okay. When you're all tired, and then I'll kick your butt. All right, so guess what, guys? The show notes can be found on OMGNexus.com. Of course, you can follow this show on Twitter. Or, sorry, you can follow the website on Twitter at OMGNexus. I am, of course, Jeff. You can follow me on Twitter at Cynics. I am checking Twitter on a fairly regular basis now, but I'm not posting because I don't like social media anymore. And, of course, you can follow this show on Twitter, which is super active because that guy up there runs the whole thing. And it is at TheOMGHour.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think.
And share with all your friends. Of course, yes, I am Ziantane everywhere, and that is XIANTAYNE. And a link to my Extra Life page. If you come and donate, you will be added to the draw to win some great games, and that is bit.ly/extrasean. But if you're following me on Twitter or Facebook, you already know that, because I have not shut up about it in a couple of weeks.
Relentless.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week. Have a great one.
Good night, everybody. Cheers.
Bye, guys.
This has been an OMGNexus.com production.